podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and DetroitRadio.com.
They came from the game table, dice bags in hand.
We have one brain that we share between us.
To talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you like it.
The original, then basic, then 1E they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D 2nd edition podcast ever. Interesting.
Yeah, you know, I just got back into game a year ago, so you know I haven't networked, mostly just friends and family.
We won't haze you very much. Not at all. Hi, folks. THACO's Hammer number 64. And I am DM Glen as usual. We got DM Brian here. Say hello to the folks, Brian.
Well, I think I'll just do that, Glenn. Hey, everybody. How you doing?
And on my other knee, we have full-on DM Full-on Gamer.
Wait a minute.
Greetings, Gamer Nation, and we're back with the hammer.
And I did that while drinking a glass of water. So, over the Corey, waiting to get on is DM Corey.
Hi, guys. Well, how did I get in here? Where am I? Where are my pants?
You're in a shotgun shack.
Hi, guys.
You need to cut down your drinking, Corey. Seriously.
Sorry.
And special, first time, listen to them all at last, DM Kojo.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Corey 2.0.
Yep.
That's right.
He's the improved version.
No comment.
New and improved.
No comment.
Constant contributor to our show.
No comment.
When we cannot bring the Gamer Nation to the Gamer Nation comes to us.
Yep.
Everybody,
Right.
when DM Kojo talks, it is not an email, nor is it a voicemail. He's actually on the show. I know he talks a lot on our episodes, but he's actually here this time.
Yeah.
It only took me 64 issues to do it, so.
That's all right. You caught up.
And like I said, I'm DM Glenn, making Corey sound good since 2011. So let's go into Hits and Crits.
What are you doing tonight? I don't know. What are you doing tonight? The burlesque, Louis Paradise, miserable and lonely and stupid. What am I, crazy or something? I got something good here. What am I hanging around with you guys for?
Hits and Crits. And the hits and the crits. Okay.
Just keep coming.
They keep coming. What you guys been doing? Corey, the other Kojo, what have you been doing this week? Gaming-wise.
Well, sadly, my game last weekend had to get rescheduled due to problems with weddings and all of these kind of things. But we're going to get our game back on track. I run a regular 2E campaign that's been going on every other Saturday for about a year.
Nice. I like hearing that. Probably better than Mike and Liz's 2E game.
Why say that?
I don't know about that. We've been running Keep on the Borderlands, which I have added to about 8 layers to it, so they're still, after a year, not quite through the Caves of Chaos.
Oh, wow. Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it turned into a full-blown mega campaign.
See, then you got to hook Barrow Maze up with it.
And
That's
then throw Undermountain under that.
Oh, my God.
Then the world's greatest dungeon under that.
And over to the west in that clearing, that's where I put S1, 2, and 3.
If you look straight ahead, you'll see Myth Drenor. Anyway.
Actually, the hooks I've got out there for them so far will either take them to the Isle of Dread or Salt Marsh.
Ooh.
Sweet. They should do both.
Ooh.
Yeah. What? No Bone Hill?
Pick their poison.
Definitely do both.
Yeah, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other for sure.
Guido's Fort.
That's where you guys are.
Yeah, I still think we should have been called Guido's Gorillas.
No, I wasn't going to allow that. I had to put my foot down about that one.
No.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Oh, you put your foot down and calling the AP past the duchy.
I didn't say. No, I never did that. Stop
Past
that.
the Dutchy.
Sailing toward the lair of the lizardmen, you get lost in a storm. You come out of the clouds. upon a far distant shore, and you see lizards, but they're not small.
Jurassic Park, anyone? Anyway.
Right.
Man with the cane.
What's up, Brian? What you been doing?
Oh, well, last week we were supposed to do the game, but, well, I overdid it at the rec center, and I felt like Full-On's entire platoon took a gut shot on me. So, yeah, I was kind of out of it, so we rescheduled. We'll probably do Session 7 of Hammers of the Duchy next week. Session 5 is up. I did do that.
Yay!
I'm going to be working on Session 6 once we get done with this. So that's what I'm doing.
Gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then I get to toil away on this. Okay. No problem. Yep. What's up, Full-On? What you been doing? Army stuff?
Army stuff, playing Twister the live game.
What?
What?
Wait a minute. Time out on the field. What?
What? You didn't watch the storms roll through this week?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Oh,
right.
yeah. We got.
I was wondering about that. How did the tornadoes do?
I took that statement an entirely different way. It went with the
So did I.
game, and when you say Army stuff, I'm playing Twister. I was like, whoa.
Well, let me tell you. Earlier this week, we had tornadoes touch down at Fort Sill.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Yes. So I was kind of wondering.
That Twister. Okay. Bill Paxton.
Yeah. How did you manage through that, Full-On?
Fine.
Oh, you're still
my
here.
car's a tank.
He's still here.
What if your house is still there?
We're fine. Everything was pretty good.
Okay.
If his house has half the amount of bumper stickers his car does, both will be fine.
He's in Oklahoma City, so.
Everybody in town got their roll on the critical fumble chart, and it only grabbed a few people, so it was all right around here. And then gaming-wise, about the only thing I've had to do productive was actually get in a session of recording for the Lost Holocron podcast, which I still have to edit.
Right.
I hang my head in shame now.
That's okay.
I've been waiting on those for some time now.
I know.
Okay, Full-On. Let me get done with Session 7, and you can send me the raw, and I'll take care of it. You know, just give me the bumpers and everything else. I'll take the hit. I'll do it.
You know, this happened with.
Right.
You know,
Your plate is getting full, dog.
You know.
Yeah, I know.
This happened with me and Julie. Next thing I know, I'm editing her show all the time. So.
Well, you kind of got out of it. It just took a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, anyone out there who enjoys Star Wars, enjoys talking of Star Wars, and you're wanting to help Full-On with his show, please feel free to email us and let us know and let him know. He may get you on the show and you can help out.
Yeah.
Or even better, email us. Podcast@gmail.com.
That's right.
It is.
Okay. All right, Corey, what you been doing?
Well, I'll keep my jokes to myself. Last week we did some D&D, new campaign. Everybody was butthurt about me using my highest level character, well, my king and the king of my nation as the hook, and some people were playing mercenaries who didn't give a damn. Then again, I have other people who were zealous at the table for the nation, so I said, you know what, screw it. Guess what? You guys are on the border of the nation in a frontier town. There's large, hairy, fur-covered men eyeing your female paladins up and licking their lips. So now they're stuck way out in the wilderness and don't know where they're at. Yeah, exactly.
What do you do?
I got a campaign set up. It's going to work all the way up from bandits all the way up to a lich. I'm just working on the meaty bits in between. Yeah.
That's one thing about Corey, folks. When it comes to his campaigns, he's ambitious as hell.
He is.
Me, I'm having a little trouble figuring out what I'm going to put you guys through next.
When in doubt, Undermountain. That's all.
Why have all the monster encounters been in alphabetical order?
Roll for initiative, meat snack. Yeah.
I told you, you got to keep up. Just say, just elbow your way through and say something around here.
Yeah. The
not to
smarter
worry.
the better.
Yeah.
All right.
What about it?
What have you been doing, Glenn?
What have I been doing? Another session of the basic game on Saturday with DM Matt, which is part 2 of Thorky's Revenge of the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are still going?
It stands at Giant 0, our party 48.
Nice.
Because we know Thorky doesn't listen, give us a 1 to 10 on that so far, how you're feeling about it, since you are play testing it.
Pretty much a 10. I'm feeling.
Really?
And the thing is, Matt keeps mumbling how he underestimated us. Well, we do stuff like, we hit the Phantasmal Force, the Mages of Phantasmal Force with the water rushing down the corridor into the shield spell that the cleric had put up on the other side of it, which is basically a bunch of twirling hammers in the air. And they get pushed right into it. So,
wow.
Nice.
It's basically like an abattoir.
Wow. They're just spamming that freaking spell, aren't they?
It was 48 giants, a black pudding, and a roper.
And I'll bet the black pudding was the hardest one to kill.
And a roper that looks like a tree.
Oh, those slimy monsters are the hardest ones. Gray Ooze almost took out my whole party.
Oh yeah, oozes and slimes are the best way to get a party balanced.
The roper was a challenge because, like Corey's grill, that hung around upside down on the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
And basically, after 3 of our party got grabbed, and people figured out we shouldn't shoot the tentacles, shoot the roper itself.
Yep.
I webbed it, and then it was like, okay, take a shot.
You guys will appreciate this with this ooze encounter.
What's this?
My party almost gets wiped out by the ooze. They escape the cave, and they end up going back in the cave because they're kind-hearted, and the crazy knoll that they freed from the goblin cave ran back in there. So they go back in, have to fight the owl bear, and have to fight the ooze.
Ooh. That's
all because they were kind-hearted about an NPC.
Yeah, that's opposite of what happened. That's the opposite of what happened in our party. They got attacked by orcs, and they charmed one and decided to use him as, hey, do me a favor, open that door. Cool, you're the best. Do me a favor, go in the water. Oh, wait, are you telling us that the local woodsman told us legends about how there's a lake around here that if you pull something out of it, you could die, but there's lost treasures underneath? Hey, you feel like a swim, dude? Seriously, that's what they did to him.
If one of the players' name was Brad, they probably got swallowed by a giant catfish.
That's a tough way to go.
It is.
Yeah, being swallowed whole is usually a bad way to go for characters. Either that, or somehow, some way they cut themselves out.
Unless you're a battle rager, then you just go.
Then you just wave your arms, kick your legs.
Yeah. Also, let's see. Aside from that, I haven't really bought anything, but I am on the prowl and on the lookout for a copy of Tunnels and Trolls.
Okay,
because both Matt, my DM, and I got into Ken St. Andre's game at the convention.
Nice. So you're going to brush it up?
Yeah, we've never played it before. It looks interesting. And
it's all right.
I think it'd be at least a fun read. We'd like to try it out once beforehand.
I got to say that my opinion, if I was going to play an alternate one, it would be BFRPG, but I'm biased. But other than that, I would probably play Tunnels and Trolls.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've done. We got any? I know we have a voicemail. Do we have any emails?
Yes, we do. We've got emails.
Yes, let's do the voicemail first.
All right, we can do that.
And by the way, this is from Old School Chris. And Chris, I'm sorry, I was outvoted. So
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, it's not like you fought really hard for it either.
Old School Chris didn't want us to replay his voicemail over the air because he doesn't like the way he sounds. So Glenn said. So we voted and we tied Glenn to the chair, and we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, outvoted 3-1.
4-1 now.
Well, yeah, 4-1. So yeah,
that's right.
Hey guys, this is Old School Chris from the forums. I have a couple. Well, one's a question. And it's kind of crazy. I've been playing second edition for almost my entire career playing D&D. And I come across a thing using a core rules CD about experience points with your percentages for high stats. You get a 10% bonus if you have, like, the fighter's got a strength of 16. I had always divided up the experience points, and if the character was multi-class, divided them up, and if you got a bonus, I just gave 10% to it, divided it in half, and put it into both. Is that how you guys handle it? Divide it first and then do a percentage towards that? And the second question is, how would you handle carrion crawlers have poisonous or paralyzation goop or something on their tentacles that they have? What would your ruling be on how long, if you allowed it, the paralyzation fluid would last on a weapon? Or if the players tried to scoop it up and bottle it? Thanks. Keep swinging them hammers.
Okay, Chris, I did try and have not play it, but saying that, now I'm going to make fun of you.
Wow.
No, it's good. I will say for the XP thing, for the core rules, or even just in general for the XP thing, I've always gone with the class that would benefit from the bonus gets the bonus to its XP, not the whole thing. So I would usually go with, say you've got a multi-class, two-class character, but only one of those classes benefits from an XP bonus. Take 5,000 XP, divide it in half, 2,500 each, and then the one that gets the 10% gets the 10% bonus on top is 2,500. That, yes, can lead to a case where you have uneven progression of levels, but that's the point.
Yep. If you're smarter than you are strong and you're a wizard fighter, then yeah, you're going to be a better wizard than a fighter. That's the way it works.
Yeah, I agree. That's how I do.
I cast 9th level spells, but I still don't see the dog poopy I almost stepped in.
Well, that's how I'd handle it too, I think.
My opinion on it, how I'd handle it would be, when I do big creatures like Grell or Ropers or something like that, it's the party XP is divided. If I'm doing a group of 30 orcs, you're damn right that I'm going to let the guys take their own XP when, hey, I killed 15. Well, I killed 1. You're going to get a bonus more if you killed the creature yourself. I think I'd give you like 0.25% bonus. But after that, I don't do the 10% XP. That's my player's job. I hand you what you gained from the monsters. I do that work. It's up to you to say, oh, yeah, I'm smart. I have an 18 intelligence. I get 10% experience point bonus for my wizard. That's the player's job. So if you're a player and you're asking, it's your job. If you're the DM and you're asking, tell your players, get off their butts and do it themselves.
Yeah, because
do simple math.
Yeah, there's something wrong here if you can't divide by 10. You know.
Yeah, I leave all that on my players, too, as far as tracking all their XP, and I dish it out, and if they've got the bonus, I just have them apply it and honor system.
True. Now, about go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, myself, you remember this, Glenn, back in Session 3 of Hammers of the Duchy, where we took an extra half hour to do all the experience. I do it all myself because it's only one extra step. That way, it's like you get this amount for one class, you get this amount for the other class. I mean, DM Allie's character is a cleric ranger in the game, and she barely qualifies for a ranger, but she is, she has a high wisdom for the cleric side. So the cleric side is going to advance faster, and it's a little extra work for me, but it's like I keep telling people, it's basic math. It's no big deal.
Okay. And about the carrion crawler, what was the question again?
Oh my!
2 to 12. Say versus per. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Falon.
Well, I was going to say, the question was, would you allow it to be applied to a weapon, and how long would you let it last if it was applied to the weapon? For that, I would treat it like any other poison, surface, whatever, put to a weapon blade, or whatever you're putting it to. You get basically, once you apply it, you get one shot with it, and then it's pretty much worn off.
Okay.
Sounds about. And then as far as how long I would have it last, as far as still be good, that would depend on the skill of the person collecting it. If it was just, if you don't have any kind of proficiencies, we might visit this later, that go into the, rending of animals for whatever purpose, or the collection of material components. Carrion crawler juice is, in most people's books, a prime ingredient in several paralytic magic items or potions or oils or whatever.
It's a commodity.
It's a commodity, so it would be worth collecting, and it would be, if kept well, if collected properly and preserved well, could last quite a long time. So get a couple vials worth of it, ooze and Scrooge it out of there. Had some people produce it a little bit differently, how they handle the Karen Crawler tentacles. Some of them like to have them all goopy, drippy, and produce the secretion on the tentacles. Others go a little bit more Man-O-War style, where it's the tentacles are kind of, they will paralyze people when you hit things with them, but it's not like you can sit there with a pair of gloves just slurp off all the stuff off the tentacles into a jar. You got to go in and find some glands or whatnot.
You mean like milk it like a snake?
Yeah.
See, for me, it would be I'd allow them to use it, like you said, as any other touch contact poison would, especially if they could get the gland out of the head or the neck that secretes it. But if you're yanking off a tentacle and rubbing a tentacle on your weapon, I'd probably say I'd give it maybe D4 rounds of paralysis, but you get one attack with it. You miss, the air's dried it out.
Yeah, but that's great for arrows.
It is great for arrows. The other thing is, when you're out of weapons and you get some cleric who doesn't want to kill, chop off a couple of them bad boy tentacles, have them swing them around like nunchucks.
Hell, just cut the head off, grasp the mandibles from the inside, and use it like a cat of nine tails.
Oh. Yep, with a shield on your hand.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
There you go.
I wouldn't let it necessarily dry out, like after one swipe, hey, you missed, your one shot's gone. I would let one actual hit work.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, once you hit once with it, it's the use of the poison is gone, then you have to reapply it.
Yeah,
now the guys keep talking about we had this weapon prepped and we never used it, so I sheathed it and I drew it and I sheathed it and I drew it and I sheathed it and I drew it. Yeah, you're probably one off in it.
Yeah, it will come off.
Yeah, that's why.
I was thinking.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, when I heard the question, I was thinking maybe that I would probably let it be like at a reduced, like 75% less potency, so fewer rounds of paralyzation or something like that. Because in my mind, the quantity maybe that they're getting you with the tentacle is not the same as it is with, the point of your blade or.
Right. That's why in the book it says 2 to 12 turns.
Yeah,
so I'm thinking like D4 rounds from
that makes sense.
Replenished secretion. It would be more than enough.
Well, I think I'd do it a little bit differently. I would say maybe a D4 rounds worth you could put on your weapon, but each time you hit something, the next person that gets hit or even the same target would get a save bonus up until like he reaches the duration of the actual ichor or whatever you want to call it, the secretion.
Like whichever comes first, 4 hits or plus 1 to save.
Correct.
I figured if you milk them or goop them or whatever in a container and stopper it up, if you're just using it for like arrows, it'd probably last at least the day.
Mm-hmm.
Dip the arrow in, shoot. Dip the arrow in, shoot. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're talking about the duration of the paralysis would last a day, or the actual juice itself would stay potent for a day?
Stay potent for about the juice potency for about a day.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So you've got something you can carry with you there. So, All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. To take that and just load somebody's codpiece with it.
Oh, shut up.
That's evil.
You're going to find out just how evil Full-On can be.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know already, Coach O.
Thank you, old school Chris.
Yes. And
yes, you sounded great on the radio, so suck it up.
That's right.
Although I would probably suggest taking a nap before you did it, but aside from that.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Chris.
What else we got for email?
Okay, we've got one from James Cook, one of our, shall we say, more ardent followers on Facebook. He says, "Hi guys, DM Jim Cook here. I'm running a play-by-post game and recently had a player leave the game due to some personal reasons. To keep the plot going, I picked up a new player for the existing character. At the same time, I added another player who took over an existing NPC, Shorty the Goblin from Glory Hole Dwarven Mine, which is, yeah.
Hi, Shorty the Goblin, you actually matter now and we'll listen to what you say." What?
Exactly. He asked the question, how do you guys handle new players taking over existing characters? Do you allow the new player to modify the character at all, or do you expect the player to accept the character like a published pre-gen?
Oh,
That's
question.
I call it situational myself.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It's funny, we have a similar situation in our game right now.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I play Gage's character when he's not there.
Uh-huh.
So I'm running two characters. Well, recently we decided that Gage is out of the campaign.
Okay.
For reasons I don't really want to get into right now.
Oh, sure. Glenn, the usual reason?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, enough said.
Yeah, but anyway, I told Matt, I said, I don't want to keep playing two characters, but at the same time, we really could use a 13th level fighter in this party.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. So one of the other characters who had a major recently died in the last game said, okay, you want to play Willie Dagger? Okay, here's Willie Dagger. And it's like, and see, it kind of, I'm not going to say complicates it, but it kind of makes it more interesting because he's a first-time player. He's never, he's just playing with D&D for the first time in this campaign.
And you handed him a 13th level fighter.
Yeah, well, we're all about 10th to 13th.
Nice.
It's just he was since he was a new guy. Matt, here's how Matt does it. Your first character you roll up is always going to be first level, always. And when that one dies, the next one will be average party level, or in this case, you get another character. You get somebody else's character.
Right. I'm glad that there's another DM out there that does that because that's exactly what I do. Or it's either that or maybe like 2 or 3 levels behind the highest level character. And that's pretty much where I go.
But it's like, he knew he was going to die. He kept waiting for him to, the mage goes in here to die. The mage goes in there to die, like.
Wow.
I've always used more of there's a range of levels that the party is operating at, and I'll go with a random generated number for the person coming in. Sometimes they're even, sometimes they're a hair up, sometimes they're a hair below.
Yep.
Usually I won't do the, hey, you get to be the torchbearer in the party until you die thing. I've seen that done, and it can be done well, but it's usually, I've not seen it successfully handled entirely often, unless people just enjoy occasionally having someone that they don't really care about and can expend viciously into the ether.
But with extreme prejudice.
Some people really commit to it and just enjoy the hell out of that character and play him up and actually level up Stumpy the Torchbearer and catch up with the rest of the party.
That's right. I saw that happen in North Texas with Liz's character. But anyway, back to the question. As far as I'm concerned, like if you're going to hand somebody somebody else's character to play for good, make it your own.
If it's that kind of situation,
I do the same thing with
do what you're going to do.
I do the same thing with a free gem from the back of a module or something.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of split the difference. Usually for someone like inheriting a character like that, if it's something in the character that never came into play and was never used.
Yeah, he was just background stuff.
Yeah. Well, not even background stuff. Major things. Weapon proficiencies, skill proficiencies, things like that. Elements that never came into play and weren't an effective part of the character for that person's play style. If it was never used, it wasn't significant plot point,
For example,
element
the guy gets a new character and he's like, hey, this guy is swimming. I don't want it. Well, he's never swum in the campaign yet, so go ahead, take it off.
Let's swap it out for something else.
Yep,
and let him.
Well, he's got pretty much. I'm sorry. He's got the minimum stuff, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, the rest of it is just here's your shell. We can adjust a few things out of it. You can always say, you know what I said about my background? I was lying. I'm really from here. That's fine too. But it's something that if suddenly you were a master mountaineer doing things like that for all the party members, and then suddenly you say, you know what, I don't want mountaineering, I'm going to take swimming instead. No, that doesn't fly.
Yeah,
no,
you can't do that.
See, I can't foresee really handing a new player or somebody else's. Like I could actually potentially have the situation come up because my party's lost. Both of the guys that played thieves have dropped out, and so I have their character sheets. And I've recruited some new players to come in that haven't started yet, but they're completely new to D&D. So I think I'm going to have them start out, with new characters, roll them up, and go through that process.
Yeah, that's how you.
Unless
You can always explain away those other guys as, you know what, you were riding down the trail one day and you happened to see all these flyers tacked up on the trees you were passing by. Bob and Jeff here kept running off and tearing them off the trees, wouldn't let anybody see them, and now they're not there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, unless the characters were so integral to the campaign for some reason that you had to have that specific character continue on, I would say, have them roll up New Thieves or whatever.
Well, he was integral because he's a 13th level frickin' fighter. That's why.
Right. But you could have rolled a new, if you wanted to.
With a Frostbrand sword.
Yep.
Yeah, those are a dime a dozen, man.
I've done that.
The Frostbrand tips the scales.
Yeah. Well,
my opinion of it, I have so many people want to join, and I hate bragging. I'm not bragging. So many people that are like, I want to play your D&D campaign. They come for 3 sessions, and all of a sudden they're like, my wife needs me to paint the lawn. I can't make it anymore. Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
so then I'm like, okay, well, I had 8 people, now I have 3.
Yeah, you've got people constantly coming in and out and rotating and stuff like that. Yeah, you don't have like static people.
Corey, that's called a stress test.
Yeah. People just sometimes just drop out altogether, and what I'll do is, like, if they're coming in, they're making a new character. I won't hand anybody, because most of my players keep their character. It's like, hell no, ain't nobody playing my character. I'll be back again someday. I might want to use it. So a lot of people would also want to come in, and they're like, okay, I'm in a dwarf party, and they're like, okay, I'm making an elf. Yeah, no, it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
They got to go with the party, but as far as that, they can make anything they want. Now, what I will do, what I haven't done yet that I want to do, is when I get people coming into high-level parties like Glen's party, 13th, 14th level parties, hey, guess what? You're going to make a fighter. You want to make a fighter? Great, you're a fighter. Guess what level you are? Flip it open. Hey, the paladin gets 7 third-level fighters. You're a third-level fighter. You used to be a henchman for the paladin in the party. You decided to strike it out on your own. You two know each other. There's your in the group.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's nice.
That's a very good way. I mean, let's put it this way. If for some reason somebody wanted to sit in on our AP podcast and actually play a character, but didn't want to join full-time for scheduling reasons or whatever it might be, I'd give them probably Cullen. One of the guys that you've rescued while you're, messing around in the dungeon level.
Is that the little scaredy wizard that doesn't even have fireball that I want to kill?
No, not him. Not him. That's an established NPC. The other one was someone who was captured, and he's probably going to go his own way once you guys reach daylight.
Angry
The monk?
No,
that's me.
That's cool.
My basic Skype game with Angry Monk and the Save or Die game. His brother was in the party, but then he couldn't make it for a while, so we handed the cleric over to Jim Wampler, who came into the party, and now that's his character. His brother's going to come back in, but he's like, okay, dude, we got to make you another character. That's Jim's character now, because he does a really good job at it. And it's so funny that the basic game I play on Saturdays, Gage gave permission to let somebody else have his character. Mm-hmm. But then he turns around and goes, but if I ever come back in, I said, no, when you come back in, you will be making a new character. It's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not just going to just walk up to whoever.
You're not going to waffle.
And take that character sheet from him.
After he's played for like 5 to 10.
You don't want to know what they've done to that character while you've been gone.
Remember what one of your compatriots is. Enough said.
Yeah. What?
So here you go. Here's your character back. You're married to a male half-orc. You're living an alternative lifestyle, and you like to wear pink now. Your armor is rose-colored. Enjoy. Here you go.
Yeah. The funny part is I know some people who would make that work. They're just that good at role-playing.
I'd rock that on the battlefield.
Who was that? Who was that email from?
That email was from, oops. Oh, geez. That was Jim Cook.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks,
Jim Cook. I'm giving you your own shout-out, my buddy on Facebook.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We got any more?
Oh, yeah, we got more. Yeah, we have more. Okay.
Well, put your hand in there and dig out another one.
Okay. Let's see. This one is from Chris Boyd.
Don't worry, Kojo. We'll get to the show eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Chris, how you doing?
Yeah, we just keep going. Gates says, this is someone who's emailed the show before. This is a DM Shag. And I will leave it at that. It's not the best, it's not like Iron Beaver, but it's close. Let's see. He says, hey guys, loving the podcast, keep up the great work. Been playing AD&D since I was 9, in 1986, starting in 1E, then moving to 2E, and been there ever since. Good man. I'd like to think that I've got a handle on most of the rules, core and optional included, but after all these years, there's still one subject that eludes my desire to understand it completely: dual classing. Admittedly, this has not been a major problem since most of my players have chosen multi-class characters, but occasionally I do get the oddball who wants to play a dual-class character. I've managed to accommodate them in the past with a lot of hand-waving, but I hate doing this. I would love to hear some discussion on how to dual-class properly, when and how to do it, the pros and cons, when is it too early or too late, how to treat weapon proficiencies and NWPs when moving from the first class to the second, and can you take a third class? If this is a subject that has been previously addressed, please point me in the right direction. Loving the show, and can't wait for episode 63. Episode 63 has already been put out. We're working on 64 now. But
anyway,
aside from that, thank you.
If you want a third class, if you're a human, no.
No. If dual classing only is for
humans,
human characters. If for some reason a demi-human character wants to take a second class, they become multi-class from that point forward.
With a different way of doing it.
Yeah, starting at level 1 in the second class.
And let's go over this anyway. Go ahead. Dual classing.
Let's start with the simple rules. Dual class by the book. You find that in 62 of the Player's Handbook, Black Edition.
Okay.
And it's pretty straightforward. Just read the paragraphs, and they'll lay it out to you. You start off in class number 1. You got to have your high scores in the prerequisites for your first class and 17 or more for any classes that you want to switch to. So that means you need really, really high scores that you're planned to switch to in your later class, not your current class. So you adventure along to whatever level you want to achieve in class number 1. You then suspend all activity in class number 1 and treat yourself like you're a part of class number 2. You don't get the benefits of any of your previous class, except for essentially the hit points, until you get back to either supersede your old class level. Mm-hmm. Then you freely kind of get to intermix the two of them and continue advancing the new class and still get to use your old class. Like, as if I started with a fighter. I got to 5th level fighter. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? I'm tired of getting blown up by fireballs. I want to learn to be a mage. So I'm going to be a mage and blow people up with fireballs. And I work, and I work, and I work. And I get up to 1st level, and I get up to 2nd level, and I get up to 3rd level mage, and I finally learn how to throw a fireball. Whoa. But I'm still not a 5th level mage. And something happens where I said, you know what? I need to put a friggin' suit of armor on and beat somebody with a large, sharp thing. The minute you do that, you suspend your progression and you lose all the benefits of trying to dual class. There's a penalty that comes in there where you sacrifice all of your advancement that you just tried to do.
This is carried over. This is carried over from 1st edition, and personally, I think it's BS.
Well, yeah, it's annoying. I always multi-class anyway. I have races that multi-class in the first place. But if you want to dual class, it's fine. I've never had a problem with tri-classing and quad-classing if someone has the stats and the time and the patience to do it.
Why does that not surprise me?
What?
There you go. Well done. Well done.
There's never a power-up that I've heard full-on gamer turns back on. Now I'm the opposite. I've never, not 25 years ago, not now in my second go-around DMing, I've never allowed dual or multi-class in my campaigns.
Really?
Yeah. I just I like to see people what they can do with the single class, and with 2E, then you add in the kits. I kind of felt like that was enough. Especially with a lot of my players this time around are new to the game or haven't played in so long that they might as well be new. So, that's kind of the route I've taken. Can't say in the future I wouldn't allow it, but as of this point, just kind of trying to keep it simple.
Right.
You potty pooper.
One of the super important things to remember about multi or dual classing, especially in a 1E or a 2E game, as soon as you become a multi-class or dual class, you're a flanker.
Yeah.
You're a flanker, you're a flanker, you're a flanker, you're a support person, you're the extra little oomph that somebody else needs to reinforce things, because in a toe-to-toe stand-up, straight-up fight, power for power, you're generally going to end up falling short against anybody who's single-classed.
Correct.
Right.
That went out of the window for 3E. They actually got multi-classing down in a much better, much more reasonable, much more fair way that allows everything to be a little bit more equitable across the board.
My only problem with that is that the XP requirements to advancing level were way too light. They needed to be a little steeper, just for that reason. You know, I mean, I remember looking at the XP progression in 3rd edition, and that's across all classes. And the fact that, you know, you only needed, like, I think, 1,000 to get up to 2nd level, and, you know, it just progressed from there, but I'm just
the idea there being that everything was additive and cumulative. Mm-hmm. You were still, and even then, that still puts you in a position where a 5-5 whatever is not going to match toe for toe against a 10 anything else.
No, not at all.
That's true.
That never was the case, ever. Yeah, that never was the case.
You'd never get that. So it's still, that is your penalty right there. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to dip 1 or 2 somewhere and then do everything else, something else, just because you wanted a particular interesting trait or ability, like a mage who can backstab, would be awesome.
Magic missile.
With a ballista.
Yeah. A wand of chromatic orbs.
Yeah!
Staff or strike to a dagger and then stab somebody and say, and I'm going to discharge the delayed blast fireball.
Yeah. Wow.
Full on?
Yeah.
I have an unrelated question, but sort of related. Have you?
Okay.
I never asked you straight up. Have you ever played Champions?
Yes.
Oh my God. You don't play it? Don't play anymore, do you?
Sold it for gas. No. Own the book.
I figure if you were a regular,
tried to enter a game, sold the book for gas money to get away from a con.
Well, let me tell you, if you were a regular Champions player, I wouldn't be playing. I'd be afraid. The entire hero community would be afraid of what you would do with that system.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be in Cyberpunk or Shadowrun with me anytime soon, I can tell.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can only imagine that, especially Cyberpunk.
I'd like to see full-on playing Rifts.
Ooh. Rifts.
Rage Rifts.
Dragon hatchling martial artist. Trained as in Scotty Quadrono.
You started it.
I'm even
with a bionic arm.
I'm even afraid to do Star Wars with him.
You know what? I would not mind. Let me take that back because he is very tactically sound. If he was GMing Star Wars and we were up against stormtroopers, we'd probably get mowed down with, in the first combat.
But what are you talking about? They don't hit. They can't aim.
That's right.
That's why level 1 farm boys can make it through a freaking Star Destroyer and save their buddies.
Point taken. But there's also one point about dual classing that we've forgotten to cover.
What's that?
The reason why not too many people and not players that I've seen, and I've been gaming for 32 years now. The ability requirements to dual class are so exactly.
15 or more in the prime requisites of your first class, and 17 or more in the prime requisites of any class is you switch to. They do split plural there, so okay. And you can say a character can acquire up to 4 classes, 1 from each group, as long as he has the ability scores and wants to make the change.
He's going to need 8 teams down the board. So
I'll tell you what, all you 1E people who want to play 2E, remember how it was a bitch to be a bard?
Yeah.
It's easy to be a bard. They just moved it over to multi-classing and dual classing.
Dual classing. That's what dual classing is. Multi-classing is simple. I have 2 classes, I split my XP. I go.
That's the way it should all be.
Elves, dwarves, and half-orcs, and everything else that gets to multi-class, and why I really don't mind allowing multi-class humans who are like, that 1/8 of an elf in the woodpile. No problem.
Dual classing isn't that hard.
That's why skills and powers lets you get that little, hey, humans get multi-classing benefits. You can buy that for your race.
What, Corey?
Dual classing isn't that hard, though. I mean, it's, 5 levels of fighter. You know what? I become a pacifist. I'm Buddhist. I'm now a cleric.
Oh,
all right. Yeah, first level.
DMs are dicks enough that people can't be that patient. to actually pass the other class.
Yeah, you have a point there.
Sandbag themselves. The situations the DM puts them in, usually because they're bitter that somebody wants to go and be a dual class in the middle of their campaign, forces someone to dip and reset their character because they weren't able to maintain the discipline to stick to their second dual class to be able to achieve the benefits of now I get to use everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You definitely have a point there.
Gandalf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no.
Well, anyway, thank you, Skippy. Who's that again?
That was DM Shag.
Thank you, Shag.
Thanks, Shag.
Shag wrote it?
Shag.
With
the G.
Shag, like the carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody out there wants to send us an email, thacoshammer@gmail.com.
Yep. Or our telephone number. Corey.
Oh, my apologies. Whoa, 405-555. Why you gotta throw me like that?
You missed the post, son.
405.
And please call in, because otherwise I have to do it every time, and if I don't, I miss one, I take all kinds of heat.
So the number is
806-0555. That's area code 405.
405. Yep. And if you can't get us, Kojo's home number is.
He can give you finer points on how to set up a proper voicemail.
That's
and
right.
if you're nervous about listening to yourself with a voicemail, you can always email Kojo, and Kojo will call us and read your email.
You're working in one way or another, I guess.
That's like one too many steps, right?
You're being drafted, son.
That's right.
You're drafted.
Let us move on to It's in the Book.
You ever go to school, stupid?
Yeah, and I come out the same way.
Is that your idea of an idea?
It's in the book. It's in the book. Oh, gaining proficiencies. We're back in the world of proficiencies.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can gain them. All right, next segment.
It's not that easy, Glenn. Come on.
There are a couple ways to make it easy. There are a couple ways to make it hard, and it all depends on your campaign, your flavor, and how you want to run it.
Every once in a while you get. That's right. Every once in a while you get slots.
Whoa. Oh boy. I'm not saying what I'm thinking, but anyway. Now
we just curled Brian's panties. Anyway.
Not at all.
Yeah, right.
Not at all.
So, proficiencies. You think you're good at something, you want to be better at something, you gotta wait, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Really do.
Yeah.
What is it, every 4 levels?
Depending on what classes, either every 3 or every 4. In the case of my monk class, it's every 2. Because, I'm sorry, when I designed the monk class, I thought...
4 for wizards, 4 for priests, 4 for rogues, for weapon proficiencies, 3, 3, 3, and 4 for the progression for non-weapon proficiencies.
Yep.
By the book.
Correct.
Or Corey's game, every level.
Every friggin' level.
Nice.
Every friggin' level.
Yep.
James, how many times do I make you roll for proficiencies? All the time.
Yep. Yeah, you must choose them wisely. I remember when I was rolling up a character for your campaign, Corey.
You just abuse that thing, don't you, son? Corey, I mean.
Of course.
Okay.
Now, they've gone a couple different ways and flavors with proficiencies. Some places have, some games will let you just kind of acquire your proficiencies whole cloth through the course of your gameplay, as it's described and suggested in the book on page 71 of the Player's Handbook, that training is just something to happen in your character's spare time, and you can just get on with the game.
Yeah, happens
Other campaigns really are important to their design, that they want to have a gold piece sink, and B, a little bit more role-playing opportunity, so they want you to invest a little of your character time into the training aspect and prospect.
And
sometimes
money.
they do it in the downtime, and money.
Yep.
And sometimes they do it in the downtime between adventures or during the return trips to town, where you got to find that proficient person who wants to invest in some training, and you do some skill checks or rolls or whatever, and you get your proficiencies that way. Especially important if you're trying to gain a proficiency you've had no exposure to whatsoever prior to wanting to have the proficiency. You know what? I think I want to be a jewel crafter. I'm going to take jewel crafting and I'm going to learn how to craft jewels. Mm-hmm. But you're a swimmer and a mountaineer. Yeah, but I want to have jewel crafting. Okay, talk to this guy. He will teach you the fine art of jewel crafting. That's the way mini campaigns will do it. Whereas there's also kind of a middle ground where you can say, you know what? I'm trying to learn survival. We're adventuring. It's hard. I'm trying to skin the critter. I'm trying to make the fire. I'm trying to do all this. The GM generally tells you good, bad, or indifferent how you've been doing, and eventually you can turn around and say, you know what? All these times you tried this over the course of the adventuring for this last level, and you were sucky at it, but you got it sometimes. You've decided, I'm going to invest a proficiency slot in it, and now I have mastered it, and the GM says, thumbs up, good idea. You were trying it all day long, you now got the proficiency. Learn by doing on-the-job training. Sometimes it takes an academy, sometimes it takes on-the-job training and life experience, sometimes the gods bless you, and I suddenly get higher languages of the ancient orcs.
Nice.
Yeah, somehow, some way.
Final points of 2E by Full On Gamer. The next time. All right, sorry.
Well, I'm actually almost at this point with the training for proficiencies in my campaign. Once they finish my extended Keep on the Borderlands campaign, they're all going to get their XP for the gold they've gotten, and then we're going to, make them do some training. So they've leveled up several times through the course of this campaign, but because they've constantly been on the go and not had downtime to do a lot of training, I haven't allowed them to gain the proficiencies yet until we're kind of at that point where we're going to branch into some new part of the campaign. Then we'll do kind of a session where we do all the training, get all the proficiencies,
and a lot of DMs I know that's the way they do it. If you're in the third level of a dungeon, you ain't going to have Chancellor and basket weaving.
No, you're too busy trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I
found a forge in that dungeon and we're trying to repair everybody's armor. Maybe.
Yeah.
Again, I could see something like that.
Situationally aware, just in case, if you just wanted to try, or had a background or something like that.
Go ahead.
Another thing that's been done that I've seen done pretty well is that they invest hardcore into the training aspect of things up until you're essentially what used to be called name level. So once you cross maybe 10th level, 12th level, something like that, you've pretty much learned all you can learn from teachers, and now you have to master your craft yourself, and all the rest of your training and progression and proficiencies is developed by yourself, especially in further advancing of proficiencies you already have.
Yes. Yes. There's one skill system I always wanted to try with D&D but it would probably take too much conversion stuff. Chaos and Call of Cthulhu has the best, as far as I'm concerned, skill system, just because of the way they do it. You got your skills, you buy your skills, and then during the adventure, if you use that skill at the end of the adventure, if you're still alive and still sane,
and that's a big
you make a percentile roll
to see if a stick goes up
or over if the stat goes up. If you don't make it, it doesn't go up. If you make it, you get to roll a d10 and add that many more points to it. So as you're going,
Atlantia does something like that, and so does Ice.
If you notice, you get better and better at it, but at the same time, it gets harder and harder to make the roll because that reflects, okay, you're getting better and better. They're running out of stuff to teach you or to pick up.
Right. Yeah.
I'd love to do something like that with D&D, but then again, you have to convert everything in percentiles or something like that. Well,
I'll give you a hint. It's 1 for every 5.
Thank you.
On a D20.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, simple math from Full On Gamer. No.
One thing I've been looking at adapting here for this time period where they do the training is a Dragon Magazine article from Dragon 114.
Yeah.
It's called Class Struggles, Another Look at Between Levels Training by Mark Kratz. And it's a 1E article, and it would need some tweaking to make it work, but it's basically got a lot of information here about how much weekly training would cost and different levels and things like that. It focuses mostly on weapon proficiencies and new spell levels, but does have some of the other special abilities in there, and I think it would be easy to adapt to non-weapon proficiencies as well. And so I'm kind of been looking at this article thinking, how can I adapt this to 2E non-weapon proficiencies? And that gives me some kind of a idea how much is the training going to cost, so that I can start sapping some of the gold that they've hoarded up.
It always comes down to that. Well, the way I do it would be a little differently. It's like Full On said, there are some proficiencies you need to be trained in and trained extensively. Then there are some that you can learn just by doing. If, like in Full On's case, the survival thing. If nature doesn't kill you, you win! If you live, then of course you'll realize, okay, I need to eat this. I need to eat these berries, not those berries, because those berries are poisonous and they might kill me.
And drink a protein shake.
Revenge.
Exactly.
Those over there make your pee purple.
Or something like that. Now, the system I use is from Dragon Magazine, I believe 225, which is back in the saddle, which brings the scores down, but also gives the player an opportunity to increase the proficiencies he has. Like every level he gains a point that he can put towards a proficiency score, and it raises the score by 1. And that way, they can also improve what they have, and that way they don't have to wait like 3 levels to devote another slot to it. But yeah, I mean, as far as gaining them, I complete case-by-case basis. As a matter of fact, in the AP podcast, you guys are going to have, yes, another ally because you've rescued him, literally. That's where we left off at the end of session 6. And if somebody went up to him, and I could see, like, Glenn's character doing it because he's a dwarf, and he wanted to learn something from the person he rescued, I could see that happening, but it would also be something that would happen off screen. You know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about the dogs? Because I'm sure the dwarf would like to learn how to lick himself that way, but it's not going to happen.
No, not the dog.
Wait, what book is that proficiency in?
The same one about drinking your own pee.
Yeah, probably one of the net books, I'm sure. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, my whole thing is that, there are some that require training, there are some that require a minimum or a maximum of training in order to gain the proficiency, but that kind of stuff would happen off screen. I would be like, okay, you learn under, Toe Jam the blacksmith for 4 weeks. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm not that original. For 4 weeks, and okay, you have the blacksmithing proficiency. He taught you pretty much everything he knows in that short of a time. So yeah, you know how to.
Etiquus the erudite in the bastion of knowledge to teach yourself local ancient history. That's the guy you go to. Go lock yourself in a tower with some sages for about 3 weeks, and then come back with some knowledge in your head. Then you can make some proficiency checks and try to outdo the bard on legend lore.
Let me ask what you guys do out in the wild when they can't get to a town and they get a level and they can gain weapon proficiencies. Do you guys allow them to pick up weapon proficiencies from other people in the party?
If they want to learn, if they want to learn
the weapon that's in the party.
Yeah,
I'd allow that.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, absolutely.
I would. If they got the skills, they can teach the skills.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, you're pretty good with that two-handed sword. You mind showing me some things?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, that's pretty cool. Yeah, let's spar.
When I did the White Boar of Kilfay, I told you that one goblin they found was like the party's mascot for about 5 adventures. And he wanted to be a fighter, and the dwarf spent like the next week or so hitting him on the head. Once he learned how
to the crap out of him.
No, just hitting him on the head with his hammer. And it's like once he learned to duck the hammer, then they started training.
That's funny.
Every fantasy movie where there's some kind of siege has like all the villagers being trained in the time leading up to the siege on some kind of weapon. So I figure if it's good enough for that, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Parry, spin, dodge, thrust.
Time for a montage.
With some cool music in the background. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, as far as, gaining them, it all depends on circumstance. And the thing is, and I've only seen it maybe once out of all the games I've played in, where the party actually starts to train each other in the weapons they use. You know, usually it's just like, oh, I'm a fighter, I don't need to use that. I'm a paladin, I don't need to use that. I'm a cleric, I don't need to use that. And it's just like, no. If you are on your own out in the wild and all you have to rely on is each other, you better start doing some things.
And again, that's a 3-ism if I ever heard one, because 2 E-parties and 1 E-parties, what's your party size supposed to be? Damn well as many as you need for the adventure. That's 6, 7, and 8. So there's going to be somebody, you know, this ranger can teach that ranger something. That paladin can teach that paladin something. 2 clerics can sit there and yell at each other about their gods all day long. Somebody's going to get some astrogation out of it. It's workable.
The wizards are cheating off each other's papers as they're studying their spell books.
Yep.
Hey man, teach me how to do magic missile. I'll teach you how to go invisible. Really? Okay, deal.
Well, see, that, you know something? Just one second, Koja. This is a thought that just came to me as Corey was telling me. You realize that it was implied in BASIC that it was verboten for 2 mages to learn the spells from each other's spell book?
Yep, I know.
Yeah. We broke that real fast.
I say forget that. I say forget that noise, because they're all pulling from the weave or the source or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Wizards are very protective of their spells. Hell no, I learned this one from an ancient book that I go do this from. But you know what? If the other wizard is like, dude, I had to pull this from the rectum of a dragon. It was a scroll rolled up. Trust me, it's totally worth it. I mean, you know, anybody can trade and talk up what they're going to trade. I don't see why anybody wouldn't be able to read the same arcane writing. If you have the read magic skill, then you should have no problem reading each other's spell books.
Well, that's the first thing a mage gets taught is how to read magic.
In my RC game,
you still got to make that whole knowledge of the spell check to interpret it in how you read the weave anyway, which is the point of it existing in the first place. Yeah, I know. I'm showing you chromatic orb. This is how it works. I don't get it. Sometimes you don't. Fine, let's learn fireball instead.
That's what the chance to learn thing is for.
Exactly. Now,
my basic game, but wait. My basic game, all our mages and elves, we have a communal spell book.
There it is.
All our spells go in it, and we all
just catch it on the back of the dwarf.
Anyway, what were you saying?
The big critical thing to remember on this whole proficiencies gaining thing is if you're adding proficiencies into your game, because it is an option, it's additive, don't be a dick about it. If your campaign intends for you to be 7 miles underground at the far end of the night below, you're
just before the
probably not going to have a whole lot of proficiency trainers available for people 3 weeks after, and they've gone up 4 levels.
Right.
So, either you're going to screw people out of the naturally occurring proficiencies they should be able to learn and gain, however you want to write it off. I did it off screen. Whatever. Or you need to account for that in your campaign plan and have somebody available to teach and train if you want teaching and training to be part of your campaign. Yeah. Otherwise, just go with the raw and let people acquire proficiencies, whether it's something they actually used, something they discovered they needed, especially if your campaign is, hey, yeah, bring your characters. I'm not going to screen or pre-screen anybody. And you know what? Somebody's going to need to have ancient kobold, and nobody in this party has ancient kobold. And guess what? That last clue, that last thing that you have to get through at the big giant door needs somebody who knows ancient kobold. We'll sit there and stare at it until you go up a level and say, I got a proficiency in languages. I'm taking ancient kobold.
Or you could just cast comprehend languages. You could just cast tongues and be done with it, but I take your point.
True.
Now, on the flip side, now in our last session, because we don't have any thieves, my cleric decided that she could take these thieves' tools she found outside the owlbear cave, and she's observed enough lockpicking to go ahead and try to pick the Minotaur's chest that's locked. Sorry, she got stabbed with the poison needle and, almost missed her save, but thankfully she's still with us. But
did she learn the lesson?
Hey, well, say she wants to dual class into thief later, or multi-class.
Right. Well, I gave her a chance, a very slim chance. She just, I figured, poking with the picks in the lock, maybe give her a little bit of chance. But
anybody has a small chance to do anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. But after
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, after the fact, I told her that, save or die situation. She's like, would I really been dead? I said, yeah. She's like, well, I'm not going to do that again.
Kill her for doing something well out of the scope of her knowledge.
Yeah, I think she learned her lesson.
Good.
See, if you're going to do that, at least be a cleric of a thief god. So you can say, Lord Heavenly Father, help me open this, thing.
And you know what? If she, rolled, on her open locks check, if she rolled, a 1, I would give her an automatic dual class, if that was the case.
Jackpot.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, that could be an inflicted thing on someone. Say, now you must split your XP. What? Hey, you asked for it. Sorry.
The one thing that I've done that no one's really picked up on in my campaigns, if they're underground and they're months underground and they're weeks underground and they don't know where they're at and there's nobody to train and they level up, and, man, we really need somebody to be able to fix this armor. This cannot be fixed. Oh, look, seven rooms from now. Hey, you found a dwarf chained up against the wall. Guess what? Pick his brain.
There you go.
You know how to fix armor? Dude, can you show me how to
get
fix
him
armor?
out of there and
find a dwarf chained to a smithy and an anvil.
I'm not going to go that literal.
You know what? Well, you know what? Doesn't that sound familiar? Because that's exactly what happens in the AP. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but anyway.
So,
anyway. Go ahead. Go on, Glenn.
No. I was just going to wrap it up.
Okay. I'm talked out about it.
All right.
Anybody?
All right.
I'm not, but I surrender to your wisdom.
Thank you. We must move on. Talk about it with us at THACOshammer@gmail.com and OSR Gaming and all the other places. All right, let's go to Rule 0.
One would think you've been doing this all your life.
We'll remember you said that.
I know. I'm sure you hate me just enough.
Rule 0. Rule goose egg.
0.
There we go. Handling when the party is incomplete. In other words, you don't have a cleric and nobody wants to play one, which I think is kind of stupid. But anyway, or if you don't, we need a thief to open stuff. We don't have one. What, we need spells? Oh my goodness, where'd the mage go? That kind of thing.
Can I say something?
Yo.
Why do you think, aside from plot points aside regarding those 3 characters that are permanent NPCs in the party, why do you think I'm running them?
I understand that. But it's I just don't understand the nobody wants to play a cleric line of thinking, even though I have done it on occasion only because I get hot to trot to play this certain class because I got a great idea and stuff like that. But that's only once in a while. But it's I will play a cleric. I have no problem.
Some classes.
Glenn, you are much more. Go ahead.
I was going to say, some classes take certain personalities who want to play them that way, especially in the older style game where you have a pretty much nutshell of your package. If you're not using kits, okay, and you're not letting people free cast or spontaneously cast, you've got to do all your deliberate planning for all your spells, and the whole party wants you to take all your healing spells, and they never want you to have all the utility spells for a cleric until you have to sit there and camp for a day, pray for extra spells, do the knowledge check, and then go back to being the Band-Aid again.
And on the upside of that,
personality for that.
And on the upside of that, I say, yeah, but you can also bust heads and wear armor.
But you think that way, Glenn, but not everyone does, and that's great. That's how everyone should be thinking, and I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree.
The problem is everyone thinks, great, I'm a cleric, I got to be the Band-Aid. Oh, we have 3 fighters. One of them's a barbarian, the other one's a dwarf battle rager. I got a wizard and a thief in the party. Well, I guess I got to be the cleric, but I really don't want to be. Why? Because I have 3 psychos with weapons that are going to be sucking my heal spells. If not, I'm going to die. So I got to do nothing but. I can't wait in there if I got a elf ranger behind me that's lobbing arrows of raining arrow death over my shoulder, and there's a dwarven fighter and a barbarian in front wheeling weapons around. I'm not going to be able to get a hit in. They're doing 2 attacks every 3 rounds, or 2 attacks every round. The cleric walks in and goes, thunk, I'm in.
Screw it, flame strike.
Right.
Yeah,
but I have a lot of problems with my parties.
That.
I have a lot of problems with my parties where people, and this is why I chose this subject, because I got a lot of problems where no one wants to play cleric, or everybody has an idea, or someone pulls out a character from their folder and they're like, oh, I haven't played this guy in a while. This is a level. Can I play this guy? Yeah, that's fine. Great. Everybody's playing older characters. Nobody picked a cleric.
A useful thing I found to break that habit is occasionally run the all-class campaign. We're going to play the fighter campaign. Everybody's playing a fighter. We're going to play the thief campaign. Everybody's playing a thief. We're going to play the mage campaign. Everyone's playing a mage. That way, everybody gets out of their system, and people get a chance to determine what they like to play the most of and how to compensate for the other classes you don't have with the classes you do. Right. I don't really have a problem with a party that has no cleric. Somebody in the party better have that healing proficiency. I don't have a problem with nobody has a thief. Hey, somebody better have a lot of hit points, willingness to bust open doors, and you know what? Some of that treasure might be busted by the time the barbarian's through opening that chest.
On the other hand, I have no problem playing I've done many a time playing in parties without a cleric. That's what they make. That's what they make healing spells for, or healing potions for.
Scrolls. A thief who can read a scroll can be just as good as a cleric.
Exactly.
A mage who has a bandolier full of potions can be just as good as a cleric. A mage who has a knock spell and a detect trap spell can be better than a thief.
This works for 2E2. My basic game, I play an elf. One of my main skills in the skill system is healing +1. Mm-hmm. I can bind your wounds if I have to.
Yep.
I kind of would have. I'm sorry, Glenn, go ahead.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, it kind of depends the way I would handle it on how they got in that situation in the first place. Like Corey says, there's, nobody wants to play a cleric. Then I kind of say, well, you might be kind of on your own. But if the one cleric, that player doesn't show up for my game for whatever reason, just for one night, I'm going to throw some stuff in to help them, another extra healing potion here or there or something like that. So I try to balance it out as best I can, and I do encourage the players to find those alternate abilities, like Full On was saying, other ways around things. And because my current party has no thief, they're trying to find that, and the cleric found a way not to do it. So now they're going to have to find an alternate way to open those locked chests. But there's ways to do it for sure.
I've done that whole, so everybody's playing a wizard. Everybody's playing lawful good. Everybody's playing a human fighter. We're doing a fighter campaign. The problem with that is those people who are like, well, I don't want to be a cleric. Okay, I guess we'll be a cleric now. We're doing the cleric campaign. Everybody's a cleric. As soon as that campaign's over, they go, cool, I don't have to play a cleric. Somebody else can do it. The person next to them goes, cool, I just played a cleric. I don't have to do it. So my problem is getting the people to realize, I understand that you have an idea. I understand that there's a character type that you want to play. You got a really cool idea for a background for a character, whatever. And a lot of my players now are starting to go, well, what do we need? What does the group need? What are they're willing to work on it. But, there's still those people who just don't, and that's what this is the discussion for, about how do everybody out there else handle it if somebody at their party goes, I don't want to be a cleric. F that. I want to play a drow ranger with 2 scimitars and a big panther.
Well, let's take it. I mean, it's not just cleric. We just say cleric because that's the most obvious.
Right.
But say you have a party with no fighters. It's happened. It doesn't happen on purpose.
Nope.
You be very careful.
It's like nobody, it's like nobody says, everybody says, I don't want to play a fighter. No, it's like, Fred and John aren't here. They're playing the fighters. What do we do?
Right. The other thing, let me add to this, because I know that there's somebody out there who's going to say this the moment they start hearing us discuss this. The other problem is, in my party, due to how many people come to my table and round robin rotate out, nobody pays for henchmen. Why not pick up a cleric henchman? Dude, go to local cleric temple. Dude, we want to pay you to come with us. We need your help. Are you doing good? Yes, we are. Okay, I'll come with you. No one, looks for henchmen, and that's one of the downfalls. Like, fine, then nobody wants to play a cleric. No one goes, dude, no problem. We'll pick one up in town. They don't. So, even if somebody would say that, then I would say, hey, I don't care if everybody plays whatever the hell they want. Pick up a cleric in town. I'm not, I'll be NPC, I guess, for them. But
I've got to confess that, and a lot of people still do, especially kids who've been playing later editions like 3 and 4, and I did it coming back to the OSR, the concept of henchmen and hirelings was kind of foreign.
Yeah.
You're not used to, like, getting a posse together.
Well, see, the reason for that was, and this goes back to first edition, where it was much more prevalent to have henchmen and hirelings in first edition than second, or I would even say even basic, because the modules that were out, the adventures that were out, the published ones, I'm not even talking about homebrewed stuff, but the published modules out there, they would suggest 8 to 10 characters from levels 9 to 12. Because they were deadly, they were meat grinders, and there were going to be characters that were going to die. I mean,
if you have a party of 4 characters, one from each core class, and somebody dies, suck it up, somebody's dead. You don't have a thief. You don't have a fighter. You don't have a cleric. You don't have a mage. The rest of the adventure, somebody's going to need a mage. Someone's going to need a cleric. Someone's going to need a fighter. Well, I guess I'm going to be that guy again. No, you have a larger party, or you start learning the trade of the other guy. Get a little cross-training in. Find how your class has its special way to do somebody else's job to cover down when someone's taking a knee, got a dwarf or a dragon on their back, or is having rot grubs dug out of their butt.
God, I hate rot grubs. But my whole thing is that, think about this. You remember, in the heyday of 3rd edition and going towards 3.5, when Goodman Games came out, and they were putting out classic style modules for 3rd edition. What was their whole slogan? Remember when
3rd edition?
Remember when D&D was
rules, 1st edition feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where henchmen were in the party to die. It's the same kind of thing. But that's just my
Necromancer games. Yes.
Yeah. I love those modules, but we'll get on with that. Yep.
Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Yep. But my whole thing is that as DM, if I want this game to succeed, I feel that, I have to fill in where either through ignorance or just happenstance, the party doesn't cover all their bases. And
you would let me.
And you know what? I would have been more than happy.
Wait a second, Corey. Wait a second. What are you talking about, Fulan?
You said you wouldn't let me play a mage.
If you wanted to play full on, I have the recording of the character generation segment.
Oh, I know.
If you wanted to play one, you could have played one. I just would have been like, oh God.
I wanted to play one. You wouldn't let me or full on play a mage. I was going to play a mage.
You and your chromatic orb wand.
Hey, that's not the point. The point
But yeah, I mean, the whole thing. I never said that you couldn't play a mage either, Corey.
I know. I'm just busting chops.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Back on the subject, I honestly think, that a lot of people need to focus more on henchmen because Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, he was a henchman. Hey, we need a footpad. Go find us a footpad, wizard.
Yeah.
All right. I'll find you one. Hey, happen to find one. Yeah.
Yeah. How big is the party? 12.
Yep, and they're all dwarves. Almost all.
And for the record of the AP, I wanted to play a gnome illusionist, but I couldn't.
No, you didn't.
You're right, I didn't. I just had to say something.
You lie like a cheap rug, sir.
Leave my rug out.
Fulan wants to play the gnome illusionist. Yeah, we had a whole segment about that, but I'll just let that stand where it is.
My martial artist dies, I'm playing a wand mage. That's all there is to it.
So what's wrong with my cheap rug? It's sitting here on my head. It looks nice.
You keep telling yourself that.
Uh-huh. Okay, how do you folks handle it? THACOshammer@gmail.com. And I put a button on that, so let's go into the snipe hunt.
If you only had a living brain.
What do you think? Escaped gorilla?
Listen, you're making enough noise to wake up the dead. I don't have to wake him up. He's up.
It's time for a snipe hunt.
Snipe hunt. See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
I didn't see what you did there.
The Aramvorax. Weasel.
In the jungle.
Yeah, part weasel, part Wolverine, all badass.
The weasel from hell that eats gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Please, you know anything that's only better than a Wolverine? An 8-legged Wolverine.
I was going to say 2 Wolverines, but yeah, you're right.
You think Honey Badger is bad?
No.
The best. I thought the best one was on Facebook when they posted a picture of the grizzly bear with shark arms.
Whoa.
Ooh, I need to see that page.
Anyway,
someone's getting inspiration.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite monsters that I've never used.
This is Monsters Manual, page 10.
Yep.
Usually you only use it once because you suddenly go, oh my god, what did I just do to my party?
Exactly.
But the thing is, I started reading it and looking at the stats and I'm going, oh my god, this is like walking into a wood chipper.
Pretty much.
But then I get near the end, I'm going, I can see why they do it now. If you survive, the benefit is like, oh my god.
Yeah. If you can survive it and if you can kill it with a minimum of slashing damage, but let's break it down. I mean, these things are small. They're small. They're the size of a large badger. Yeah, a large badger.
3 foot long.
Yeah, 3 feet. That's it. But they're it's 3 feet long, but 500 pounds.
4 hit dice per foot.
Yes.
Yow.
12 hit dice.
Are you describing me?
No.
3 foot long, 500 pounds.
Well, I'm not even going there.
And while it only has 1 attack around, it has an extra 2d8 attacks if it gets that first hit in.
Yep, 2d4 extra attacks per round, which means...
Because in case you didn't listen earlier, it has 8 legs and 8 sets of claws.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Tasmanian devil spinning. This is Taz in mid-spin.
Something like that. I mean, now, the whole thing is it has the 1 attack. It'll try to bite you. Now, if it bites you and it hits, it'll clamp its jaws onto you and inflict 2 to 8 points. That's not
typical
so bad.
of those kind of creatures. I think badgers and wolverines and other things do that too.
Yes, they do, actually.
And pit bulls.
Yeah, because they have really, really nasty bite attacks. But once they hit, they lock their jaws and hang on, and they'll do an additional 8 points of damage per round. Now, that will continue until either the victim or the Umbraumvarax is dead. That's only part of it. Then, once the jaws lock, it starts raking you with its 8
legs. Yeah.
Yes. And it's 2 to 8 of its legs will attack you and will do 2 to 8 damage per hit. And that's no dex bonus to your AC. So yeah, that's pretty nasty.
That's a squad of people stabbing you simultaneously with rapiers. You're surrounded and they're all stabbing you.
Or in 3-5 attacks of opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, and I come back to the fact that it's got 12 hit dice. It's going to take a long time to get this thing dead, so it lets go.
Right.
And it's immune to poison and gases, so no, you can't beat on it with your carrion crawler whip glove.
Nope.
Half damage from blunt weapons.
Yep.
This is the kind of thing
half
you want
damage
to
from magical fires.
This is the kind of thing you want to get into.
Immune to normal fire.
You want to get into a rock fall and just like dump rocks on it until it dies.
You might just end up just irritating
it. Burrows through solid rock, so I'd go rock to mud.
Yeah,
true.
Then dispel magic.
This is one of those where you need to cast disabling spells like Hold Monster or something like that and pray that it breaks its saving throw. Because,
water breathing.
Maybe. But it's one of those things where if you get bit by this thing and it starts raking you, now we're talking 2 to 8 for the bite, 8 points for the locking of the jaws, inflicting additional damage, then the 2 to 8 attacks with the legs. We're talking
averaging 4 each, so that's averaging 16 additional points per round.
Yep. And I don't know too many characters under, say, third or fourth level that would not last 1 round with this thing.
Well, you should take out a whole party of mid-level characters if...
one at a time.
One at a time, exactly.
And those DMs who I know are sadistic bastards out there, they're solitary creatures.
Yeah.
You don't throw a squad
with a kit.
You don't throw a squad of them
1d6 plus 2 kits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does the kits get attacks, though?
No.
Okay.
No, but the mom gets a +2 bonus when the Yaz young.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I know a few DMs will go like, okay, I'll throw a squad of these.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know what they do? They'd end up fighting with each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah,
they're very territorial.
Well, again, it does state that you can encounter a pair of them for about a week or two.
Yeah, mated pair.
Yeah, mated pair.
Well, they're mating.
Mm-hmm.
And then they leave, but you can find a pair.
I wouldn't want to watch that procession, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No.
Now, if you happen to run across, say, an interesting slave arena pit where they have several, someone might give you a situation where they put you into a cage with 2 or 1 and a couple extra cages open and you get caught between several fighting Orumbraxes.
No DM here would do that to anybody, would they?
No, absolutely, I wouldn't do that. I'd have at least 8.
Yeah, Full On believes in overkill. It's true.
I would also have dire, feral,
undead.
Talk about our 3 E.
Dire, feral, undead ones.
Yes.
But, okay. Now,
with Batusu blood.
Corey, save us, please. From Full On.
Well,
if he's talking about something evil, then I'm fully backing him completely.
He's taking notes, hey, I'm going to take an Orumbrax and I'm going to duct tape it legs out to the front of my friggin' shield.
I would love to do a tourney campaign where Full On and I co-DM. I think that would be the deadliest thing. We should totally do that, but do like the world's most evil dungeon or the world's deadliest dungeon.
God. You got to come to North Texas sometime. You and Full On get together. Oh, boy. I don't know if anybody will sign up for that. I don't know if anybody will sign up for that game.
We're going to have to start 6 months.
I got like 4 people signed up for the Blood Mountain already. Maybe 5.
Yeah, but that's bounce back.
We'll do I'll start 6 months ahead of schedule and start making pre-gens, and we'll just have one of those deli taking numbers for the characters in the party. These are dead, you leave the table.
Wow. But
now, for the obvious statement in the book to me is where it says dwarves tend to dislike the Orumbrax. That's
I can't imagine why.
Been known to raise 1 or more for use in sniffing out veins of ore. They use them just like hunting truffles.
Okay. Here's the thing. It says they eat gold and other ores, which what makes their hide so tough, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the upside. Say your party managed to say your party sends like a squad of henchmen up to kill it. You now have a dead Orumbrax carcass. Well, guess what? If you take that carcass, you can make a nice cloak or other things out of that will give you their protection. Not to mention, if you burn the carcass, you get 250
pounds of gold.
Pounds of gold.
Yeah.
Pounds.
Out of it.
If you take the body and burn it in a forge, yes.
Yes. So that's why that's why you get tell the crocodile hunter, the Orumbrax hunter.
That's a dwarf. He's a dwarf.
Really awesome. The slight variance that you could do with this. I mean, you could have the cheap, nasty Cobalt Orumbrax that's fed on copper and is actually more like an 8-hit dice critter. And then you can have that super high ancient dwarf clan that happens to use theirs to sniff out adamantite veins and mithril veins and probably have about 16 hit die at that point. Yeah.
I've got it.
What?
I just had a brainstorm. You crossbreed the Orumbrax with the Displacer Beast.
Oh.
Ooh.
Or a blink dog.
And a disenchanter.
I'll tell you what I would use them for.
The hell of it.
What would you use?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'd use them for. So I'm an ancient silver worm. Guess what I'm having as pets?
Oh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All I have to do is feed him a little bit out of my friggin' hoard every once in a while.
Yeah.
Here, eat. Here, guard my...
And I'm sure for a red dragon, if I really get pissed, I'll just pick one up like a friggin' like crayfish and go, that actually tastes pretty good,
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'd actually love to see an Orumbrax take on a dragon. That would be an interesting fight.
Yeah.
Not really, because if it's a red dragon, its breath weapon is like a forge. One good hit with the breath weapon, I have a new gold statue shaped like an Orumbrax.
Do its thing because green dragon would get its ass handed to it. White dragon might actually have a chance. So might a black. Blue could be interesting because gold's a great conductor.
Okay. Okay. Variations. I know one real nasty variation that probably fit in just great with Full On and Corey. His bite, make it poisonous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost overkill at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Overkill is the magic item that you have your pet one wear. The collar of haste.
Oh, yikes.
Because I'm just that mean.
Yeah, of course you are. We all know this. I mean, when you're thinking about it, this thing can inflict 80 points of damage in one round. 80.
Well,
That's enough to kill a 12th level fighter on it.
Well,
we went on this great day. We had a set our Umbrax, and we went out there herding. And we don't herd sheep. We herd Tarasques.
This is what I do. I'd find a kit, raise it as a pet, and when I go down the dungeon, here, go play with the Death Knight.
Well,
that's a good boy.
As long as it survives the power word kill that the Death Knight's going to throw at it.
I just see it's like power word kill. You hear cha-ching.
That critter, it can take it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure it could, but it's like I've said. Or I didn't say it, one of the people I was playing with I said at the time, anyone can break magic resistance or a saving throw. It's not a static thing. There is a chance.
What would be pretty nasty?
What's that?
Dwarven Battle Rager polymorphed into one of these.
I could see it.
That just calm the Battle Ranger down?
Have a psionicist awaken one of these things and make it more than animal intelligence?
Oh, God.
We are getting into Jurassic Park.
What do you think Elithids use for pets?
I would like to I love this monster, and I'd love to use it, but I'd be more likely to maybe use a young one with half the hit die and therefore worth half the GP when you smelt it. Mm-hmm. But, just to get it in there, because it's such a cool monster, they wouldn't know what to do once it latches on.
Oh, my God.
Pitbull style.
These things, I would love to throw, let's throw some permanent spells on one and keep it around. Let's see, enlarge, haste, invisibility, improved invisibility, and,
how about improved teleport while you're at it?
Yeah,
actually,
teleport without error.
Just give it a gaze attack, a whole person.
Spider climb.
I was trying to find a way to downgrade it to work it in. You guys took it the other direction.
You come to the wrong place, my friend.
Wrong podcast.
Hey, I told you how to downgrade it. Feed the damn thing copper.
There you go.
Well, what would be pretty nasty with this? If they're in a tunnel in a dungeon with this thing, they go into a cave system, and there's a whole bunch of small 1 foot or 1.5 foot high side shoot caves at ground level. Just dozens of them just shooting off from the main tunnel. And this thing's
giant knives, yes.
This thing's darting in and out of those holes and attacking the party like a freaking doppelganger on speed.
Wow.
Yep. It's like the Horda.
Like the Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah. Teach your guerrilla tactics, yeah.
Well, I know what you guys are fighting next week.
If I want to end my game, all I need to use is to sick one of these on your party. That's all I need to do.
No, I won't be fighting it. I'll be running away from it.
I told you I'm going to hold that thing by the scruff of the neck, pull its tail like a rope start, and just walk up at people with it. And there are bards who will do that. Or not bards, druids.
Hi, this is Jaws, my pet. Yeah.
Well, I would
that's
think
somebody
that this would
you don't want to mess with who has an Umbrax as a pet.
Would you guys say that a potion of animal control could handle this thing since it's animal intelligence?
Absolutely.
Yep. Of course.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Good,
if it breaks its saving throw.
Right.
That's the operative thing.
As long as the ranger
with
doesn't
that many hit dice, it's got good saves. Huh?
As long as the ranger doesn't try and talk to it.
Mm-hmm. You know what? It just might work. But the problem is
fly, invisibility, permanency. Go.
Crikey, look at the size of them. 8 big claws. I'm going to walk up and see oh my God, my leg, it's gone.
I don't believe you want to check its cloaca.
With all apologies to Steve Irwin, may he rest in peace.
I was just doing generic random Australian guy. I was not doing Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee.
And this isn't a banner anyway.
Who's a pretty Rubrix? Roll over on your back. Let me rub your belly.
Actually, this would be a nice mount if you could giant size this thing.
Not even that. Just have a freaking pixie mount.
On top
Pixie
of
warlord.
God.
60 druid warlord. Yes. Doing it.
Stop it.
Fairy dragon.
And you know what? On top of that, it's worth 9,000 experience points.
Every last one.
Now,
before we get a hold of it, it's worth 9,000.
Let me ask.
It'd be worth like 20.
Let me ask you: is this 9,000 XP just for defeating it, or is that including getting the gold out of it?
No,
that's a good question.
No, I think that's just surviving it with your heart still beating and your organs inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because second edition got rid of the gold piece for experience.
Hold on, I just had a terrible image of my players walking into a town. It's all downtrodden. Everything from 3 foot and below on all the buildings are shredded. All the people wear shorts and their legs are scarred up. And it's like, what is wrong with these townsfolk? Oh, we're terribly oppressed. What is it? It's the pixie druid warlord who rolls into town every month. It's horrible.
I thought it was every
demanding
year.
Its tribute.
I thought it was the every year, like in Spain, the running of the Aramravax.
Oh my God! Can you imagine that?
Thinking badgers, we got the Rumvaraxes.
Oh my God! Can you imagine that? See, the only problem is that they only move at a rate of 9 out and on the ground.
That's why.
Outrun one.
So halflings can do the running with their Rumvarax.
Mm-hmm.
They burrow 3.
Yeah.
That's why you have Aramravax wranglers. Yeah, on a horse.
That's a guy we never met.
Entirely. You could reinvest in friggin' trimmers here by having
between them and kegs.
You have a couple pixies, some brownies, a fairy dragon. They got themselves a belay, a couple of Rumvaraxes, and they could just lay siege to a town or an area and literally give people a miserable life. But for some reason, because there's a gold mine there, because that's what's feeding the Rumvaraxes, they're always going to be sitting out there, hi, we've got a flyer out in Adventurers Quarterly. We're horribly oppressed by the monstrous things here, and we need it really bad. Someone come kill it.
Oh my God.
And just adventurers come into this friggin' meat grinder on a regular basis. Again. But hey, this town's got a really well-stocked magic store.
Yeah, if you can live to enjoy the items that you get.
That druid pixie warlord on the back of this thing. I'm imagining
people telling.
Draw it, Corey.
No, because if I draw it, I'm going to use it, and then you guys will have hate mail from my garden.
Speaking of drawing, I got to tell you, I love the way, Corey, you draw people's death scenes and post on your wall of shame.
Oh yeah, I got to take pictures of that for you guys.
I want you to take somebody out with a Rumvarax just so I can see that drawing.
I think I would just do a tornado shape with blood spurting out of it and like a random claw hanging out of it, a la cartoon style.
Nice.
Well, let's
challenge accepted.
So Displacer beats a Rumvarax. I would add Lacrata in there too.
Oh God.
That's where the intelligence comes from.
Yeah.
You take a love potion, a Lacrata, and a Rumvarax, lock them in a room.
Oh God.
Take out whatever's left and breed that thing.
Oh my God.
Evil.
And now we've descended into
madness. Looking for you.
Descended.
Yeah. Your Rumracata.
Oh my God.
8-legged Lacrata, God. Okay, folks.
Glenn, save us, please.
Tell us about this.
You use the wrong. You know what you really did there? You used the wrong prefixes. What you have left is the Lorax.
Oh. Ouch.
Tell us how you use this animal wood chipper at saberdie@gmail.com or our number.
THACO's hammer, not saber die.
Yeah.
Number is 405-806-0555. Call us and let us know what you think.
Or 1-405, we shred your legs.
Yeah, we send Goldie to pay you a visit.
Yeah.
Life.
Let's go on to our last segment, option package.
Yes.
Option package.
My personality undergoes a startling change.
You should meet me because I'm a great guy.
I like big fat men like you. When they fall, they make more noise. And sometimes they never get up.
Option package.
Option package. We are doing a splat book, one of the green splat books. These are 2 Charlemagne's Paladins. And this is, the green ones came out like after all the other ones, right? Or was that different?
I think they kind of started coming out at the same time. This one is, what year is this? This is 1992. So this is right in line with the Splat books that were coming out.
And some guy real smart wrote it. So.
Mike Bro.
This came out when I graduated high school.
Stop that.
I know who?
Mike Bro.
He's my bro. Anyway.
I'm sure he hasn't heard that joke.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this book came out when I graduated high school.
So so if you ever wanted to play a frog paladin, this is...
Is that right, Verax?
Well, the Bro was the editor. Ken Rolston was the author, and
that's right.
And he wrote quite a bit of stuff. He wrote some Gazetteers. He wrote some Star Frontiers stuff.
Yes,
he's one of my favorite actual TSR authors.
Yes,
I always, every time I hear Star Frontiers, I have to give a sad sigh. It just didn't get quite the
build up.
Yeah, it didn't get quite the shine that it should have. But
flying monkeys with lasers, yes.
Oh God.
I borrowed.
How do you say that guy's name? Raup?
Tranquilizer for full-on stat. Anyway,
Roger Raup.
Corey, how's the artwork?
That's what I was just about to say. I didn't know how to say the man's last name. Raup.
I think it's Rob.
Okay, Roger Raup. I really actually dig the artwork. The first picture on page 3 is fantastic. Yeah. All the cross-hatching. I mean, just that King's in there like, dude, why are you bothering me with this crap? And the best is the drunk guard knight behind the priest, like looking around like, oh my God, I hope the king doesn't realize I've been drinking all night. These pictures are awesome. There's so much liveliness in the faces. It's great.
Cool. So we're talking about, since these green splat books are about like historical periods and how to adapt them to D&D.
Correct.
This one is about the French.
Yes. The Franks.
Yes. The are they the Saxons? Were they the Saxons or the Normans? I forget.
The Franks.
The Franks.
Yes.
They're not sure.
Franks.
Right. Okay.
Hello, would you like to play Joan of Arc? Here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that is during that time. No, wait a minute. Joan of Arc was what? Kojo, help me out here.
Joan of Arc was later than this Carolingian period.
1200s, wasn't she? Something like that?
Yeah, I want to say even a little bit earlier than that, or later than that, but I'd have to...
But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to play Charlemagne, because they have Charlemagne's story from beginning to end in the first chapter. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, all the things that happened in history starting from like 714 AD forward.
Right. Joan of Arc's about 500 years later.
Yeah, the 1200.
Okay.
1400.
Actually, I think a Mighty Fortress was the French, wasn't it?
No, Mighty Fortress was more Spanish, I think.
Okay, Spanish.
Yeah.
But anyway,
but
I
it's still about the people. It's still about the people who let a crazy woman lead their armies who said she talked to God.
She was rocking old school style. That's why she got all the followers. They said, "Oh wow, that is so amazing! That is just like we like to have it before. I don't have to throw elderberries or French peoples at them anymore."
But yeah,
no hamsters.
Yeah, no hamsters, exactly. Yeah, they do. They give a suggestion as to what classes are available depending on the style of campaign you're going to go. If you wanted to do historical, of course you're going to have fighters, clerics, and thieves, and nothing else. If you want
basically a Lady Hawk campaign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lady Hawk, one of my favorites.
Classic movie. Any of you listeners out there haven't seen it? I command you to go watch it
now. Go to Netflix, go to Hulu, go find it, watch it. You will not regret it.
And then tell your DM you want to throw the claymore.
No, I tried that. I tried that after we watched Braveheart, and the DM said no. I saw it at the end, and he one-handed that bad boy into the field.
I thought Rutger Hauer was better in other things, but anyway.
Yeah,
I'm kind of surprised they don't allow the druid in any version. Like they've got historical, legendary, or fantasy levels, basically, and the druid is not allowed at all. I would have thought they could have worked that in pretty well into the legendary or fantasy type.
Well, if you read the Celts one,
place where you'd want to do that, for the movie you want to reference to that, if you wanted to insert it in there anyway, Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that in a long time. I have the DVD. That's a good movie.
So what do we got in this bad boy?
Okay. I mean, it gives you the rundown about, they even give you kits that you can run, like the Carolingian Warrior, which, it has, like, different little I won't even say sub-kits, but little suggestions as to what kind of actual warrior this person is. Like it has like the sportsman who is like, he loves action competition, self-testing, that kind of stuff. The ambitious noble, the Christian soldier of the empire, blah, blah, blah. But, has, like I said, it gives you also gives you the basis of how to design, how to make characters, like Rangers, even though they have no historical or legendary place in such campaigns, but since I'd say probably about 85 to 90% of people who would use this would go with the fantasy option rather than legendary or historical. Because, you
could go with the friggin' field hunter. He's the guy who does all the wolf trapping. He's the trapper.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, they even give a little thing about wizards in here.
The gamekeeper.
Yeah, the gamekeeper. Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. Paladins, as is suggested in the title, would be rather prevalent, although most of them would probably be Christian-based. I'd say probably almost all of them, considering the time period. They give suggestions for the wizard. And the wizard gets, they only have certain spells in this thing. And it's not like you could just go in the player's handbook and just pick spells and just say, okay, I'm a wizard in this time, go. No, you have to go with the spells that are in this supplement. Those are the ones that are suggested.
Going for the very low magic approach.
Correct. Yeah.
Very Hyborian.
Yeah.
Or even lower.
Agreed. Of course they have the priests. There will be pagans. There'll be priests of pagan gods. There will be your Christian priests and things like that. I mean, it's an interesting, from what I was reading of the history when I was going through this book a couple weeks back, it's an interesting time, but it's like, it is just so freaking, sad as to all the things that happened over the space of like 400 years.
Yeah, it's a rough time to be living historically during this time period. I mean, you're tail end of the Dark Ages, and things are starting to build back up slowly. But I'm sure for the peasants, it was a pretty unpleasant time.
Oh yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
that.
Definitely. Well, it was never good for the peasants going into the 17th century and probably even a little further past that.
Now, we're dealing...
The peasants are revolting. That's why we try to give them baths, but they don't want to go.
Exactly.
Now, this period of Charlemagne, is this before Musketeers or after?
Oh, way before.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Musketeers is like 17th century.
That's what I thought.
Joe? Yeah. This is only like 8th century to like the 12th century.
Right.
So think Black Death.
Lots of
Black Death. Black Death. They haven't got around to beating up the British yet. So.
Yeah, that's true.
The Norman conquest and all that.
The thing I've always...
Let's begin the Inquisition.
Oh God, let's not.
The thing I've always enjoyed about this time period is one of my areas of specialty in my historical background is ancient Rome, and they took on the mantle of calling themselves the Holy Roman Empire. Yep. They tried to revive some of that. There's even this idea of a Carolingian Renaissance that all of a sudden you've got new learning going on. It's kind of like a pre-Renaissance thing going on. So it really was an interesting historical time, and Charlemagne is such a pivotal character historically that, if he doesn't unify this region, historically it's, who knows how far back things would have been set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at the map, the Frankish Empire circa 814, and you can see how many, just how many, not city states, but just so many different regions and areas that are, constantly jockeying for political position and, things like that. And, Charlemagne, I mean, even just from understand something, my high school education is a little limited, but, I do remember studying in history about, how this man came along, and probably saved this, saved a second dark age, saved the region from coming into a second dark age.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's true.
That,
yeah, well, for sure. The one thing that sticks with me that I learned about this back in high school was my teacher telling me that, the Holy Roman Empire is a misnomer because it wasn't holy, it wasn't Roman, it wasn't really even an empire. So, it's kind of an interesting kind of thought there. But yeah, the unifying force, I think, of Charlemagne personality-wise, and the ability to bring these rival, peoples together and really establish what would later become, the concept of French culture. I mean, they, before that, it really wasn't, a single type of thing. So, France, modern day France, I think, owes a lot of it to Charlemagne.
I'll eat a croissant in their memory.
I knew you were going to say that. I would even say that there's still, I would even go so far as to say that there's still, even to this modern day, and we're 21st century now, there's still a fairly noticeable part of that in modern French culture, even to this day. I would even say that, because you saw, going through history, and especially in Charlemagne's time, you saw the beginnings of, like you just said, Kojo, just the beginnings of, how things were going to be in France for the next, 1,100 years?
Mm-hmm.
Starting from this point.
Okay, let's break this down a bit more.
Back to the book here.
Sorry for the history lesson.
That's what you get for inviting a history teacher on your
For those who know what I do to these books and the sources and the supplements we got, one of my favorite parts in this book is the name generator and the name lists.
Yes,
there's some really good reference material and resource material here for you to use. Man, I want to make a paladin, but I need a cool name, and I don't want to be Dirk Questhard. What should my name be? Pull this.
No, you're not going to be John Luke either.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, there's some really good things in this book that even if you're not playing in the time period, you could use in any fantasy campaign, even portions of it that, maybe a province. You need a certain province. Heck, every freaking fantasy world out there has been pulled from the real world. Ancient maps, Scandinavia, Forgotten Realms. The places have been pulled. So, hey, I need a cool, province for my kingdom, and it's got to be ruled kind of like France was. Hey, I know, let's pull up that Paladin book and pull out Burgundy. Let's read on Burgundy in this time period. Boom, there you go.
Yeah, I think that all the historical books are really great.
Everybody goes in the bar and asks for wine. Where's the wine country that all the wine comes from? Here you go.
There you go. Well, I love the monastery map on page 35.
Yeah,
I think that's just an awesome, historically accurate representation that you could just drop in anywhere.
Yep. I might actually use this for a monastery in my own campaign because this is heavily detailed. It's great.
What kind of kits we're looking at here? Mostly paladin-ish, isn't it?
No, mostly fighter. There are a few wizard, not wizard. There are some thief kits also, but yeah, the majority of them are warrior kits.
Okay.
Because of course, most people are wandering around in chainmail and having sharp metal things in their hands.
Glaives, bulges, cuissarms, glaive, cuissarm, bulge.
I always want to take those I only want to take them just so I can say rouge and cuissarm. Especially if I take my teeth out, it's really funny. It's glaive cuissarm.
Sylvester trying to speak French. What?
Excuse
me. But yeah, I mean, you've got like, rogue kits like the Noble's Clerk, because they were more like scouts and spies and things like that. You did have bards in this area, but they were more based like on wizards, because they were just legends of these people. So of course, how legends go.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there are some kits in
I
here.
know my own legend. It's epic. Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
Probably counterculture. If you wanted clerics of other deities other than the Christian groups, you'd probably either be slipping over to the pagans or you'd be slipping over to the Moors and the Muslims. But you could have paladins out of all those groups.
Yep.
All thinking they were right, going at it. Go for it.
Yep. Well, that's like one of the few things that I actually liked about Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, was Morgan Freeman's character, because it was different than all the other tellings of Robin Hood that I had seen. Never mind, Kevin Costner couldn't put a British accent in a paper bag and carry it.
I don't know. I thought Dave Chappelle pulled it off pretty well in many times.
Nice.
I can only imagine.
With his Air Jordan pumps, that was
more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it just goes into, the actual settings, talking about the Frankish Empire and, talking about peasants' lives and, the lives of people in the nobility. And they give you, decent, I won't say great, but decent, ideas as to, how you could run such a campaign, even if you wanted to go either full historical or just full on fantasy.
Right.
That's what these green splat books do. I just wish they did it a little bit better.
And this one retailed for about the same as the other ones.
I think 15. I'm checking. I'm checking right now.
Around 15.
$15, yeah.
You can find them like half price in other places for like, $8 per, unless you go to my half price and wants to charge me like $35 per green splat book.
Yeah, they are a little more rare, I think, as far as, publishing numbers, because it seems like they're a little harder to find.
You're right. I mean, they're no complete necromancer, but they are a little harder to find.
I got
They again fell in the category of a niche publishing splat book target.
And as far as popularity goes, I think to me number one is always going to be the Celts.
Yeah.
And this is like number 3 or number 2 or 3.
Number 2 out of
Vikings, Celts.
No, Celts, Vikings. Yeah.
Celts, Vikings.
Those are my 3 favorite. This one, the Vikings, and the Celts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then at I'm trying to remember what the fourth one was, and I know I'm whiffing on the actual
Mighty Fortress.
Mighty Fortress, I think, was the last one.
Yeah, there was another one, and I can't remember what it is.
4 is the Mighty Fortress. 5 is Rome. 6 is Age of Heroes, so that's ancient Greece. 7 is the Crusades.
Oh, they did a Crusades one?
Yes, they did.
Wow.
They're all good. I mean, I love them all, but I'm a history guy. So.
Yeah. Well, you could talk about it on osrgaming.org or send us an email about it at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Boom. Okay, time to close this green splat book.
DM Kojo, thank you so much for coming and joining us on this. You were awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, I had a blast. I really appreciate the opportunity and love to do it again sometime.
You are always welcome here, as I say to all our guests. Someday I'll regret saying that, but for now, you're always welcome here. Now. Why don't you say goodbye, DM Corey?
Kojo! Say goodbye.
All right, good night, everybody.
And Brian?
Until next time, folks, just remember, if you see a noble riding a horse and he's got his lance and he's riding towards you, it's not going to end well. Get out of the way. If you can.
Forward.
I just make sure he has the Rumvarax emblazoned on his shield, or preferably duct tape there. Bye, Gamer Nation.
Corey.
Dude, I would totally make a wizard that rode in a Rumvarax with like 2 wands of like
Chromatic orb.
That would be fantastic.
Like I said, folks, fetish.
Gnome illusionist.
Hey, they're small. They're only 3 foot long. I take 2 of them and make them into moon boots.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Big moon boots that you just wear.
Oh, I give you a say goodnight, Glenn.
Like Lopan.
Oh, God. Save us, Glenn. Get us out of here, please.
Okay, I'm GM Glenn, and I'll see you guys next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer. Bye-bye. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. You know what made an appearance at the basic game last Saturday? They girdle a masculinity femininity game.
Ooh.
Awesome.
And it got used.
Who wore it?
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.